Welcome, guys, to the last day of Round 2 Pro League here, live at the Nexon Arena. My name is Valdez. Joining me is Wolf today. How are you doing, Wolf?
I'm doing great. I just had a rainy day, you know, just like everybody else in this city today, but this is what's going to make my rainy day. It's these two matches to close out Round 2 and to finalize where all of these teams stand going into playoffs, or for some of them, not going into playoffs.
Yeah, this day matters for every single team involved. This matchup right here between KT and MVP, this will decide who makes it into playoff, who clinches that fourth place spot. So both of these teams, I'm sure they practice a ton for this matchup specifically, and we're going to see some amazing games today, Wolf. I guarantee it.
Yep, we definitely are. The second matchup today is going to be epic as well, but this first one looks to be intense. KT, I feel, does have the favored players, but because MVP is on their last legs here and they have to win, they definitely have got to be prepared. They've even got Marine King coming out today, which is totally crazy and insane. And that makes me excited because you don't just send this guy out on a whim. I feel like he may have recovered from his last match.
Yeah, maybe he's back, you know, with some like anger, some fury. He's like, I can't believe that happened to me, you know, that whole scandal. Now I'm back and ready to play and win some games for real. It's definitely possible, and I'm glad you mentioned that. And MVP always reminds me of this team that's got some great camaraderie. All the players on the teams are great friends, and they always like sprinkle a little magic in there. They have that little something that somehow wins them games.
Yeah.
And wins them series.
Hey, let's talk about these matchups very briefly. YongHwa versus Stats, a great pro to pro. Start things off. YongHwa is super consistent this season compared to what he's been in the past. Panic, maybe a little bit of that magic. We don't know. And you got Marine King coming out against Zest. Going to be a very, very tough match for him, but maybe, just maybe, he can pull it off. Then they've got Lucera, one of the top performing players this season. Even though the team might not even make it to the playoffs, he's going up against Life, perhaps KT Rolster's best player. So this is going to be a tough one for MVP, but maybe they can pull it out.
Very glad you mentioned that. Just some of these matchups, the way they line up, it's just not the way that MVP would like it. You don't want Lucera going up against the best player. He needs to take that win, and going up against Life, I'm not sure if it's going to happen, man. And guys, going into team rankings, sorry to cut you off there, Wolf. Just let's go over this a little bit. Like we said before, KT Rolster and MVP, this is the fight for fourth place. Whoever wins will be 4-3, and regardless of indicator points, they will clinch that fourth place spot. And then later on, we're going to have Jenner Greenwings versus CJ Entis. Technically, Jenner cannot clinch the first place spot, but they could possibly tie SK Telecom T1, which would get a tiebreaker for us.
If they lose 2-3, if Jenner loses 2-3 today, it's possible that it would be a tie between SKT, and then of course the two of them would have to play a tiebreaker to decide which one is actually ahead in the points. Those top three teams you see though, CJ, Jenner, and KT, or not SKT, they're all secured in the playoffs. The only teams we don't know are the two teams that are playing first. So the placement is what's more important when it comes to our second match today, because both teams are already seeded into the playoffs.
Yeah, and guys, taking a look at our winners rankings here, Hero's still on top. He will be playing today in the first match of that second match, the first game of the second match up against SOS. That's going to be an interesting PvP. Has a lot of history behind it there. Stats playing today, Bjell playing today. So many of the names up here on the winners rankings are playing today. Like just going through them, Lucera, also Rogue. Bunch of guys down there at the bottom. I saw Life. It's going to be pretty crazy. But guys, let's jump into predictions here for the first matchup. And wow, pretty close.
Pretty close. And everybody, I want to point out that all 6 of us have an above 60% accuracy rate in predictions. We're all pretty good at this.
That's great. And I want to mention also Yu Dae-han, the guy over there on the left, the Korean caster. Well, I guess he's on the right on the desk, but on the left side there with the orange number. He got every single prediction right yesterday, and that's why he jumped up into that place. I, on the other hand, went 5-4 and tanked my rating, and that's why I'm down. And
that's all right.
I'm a little bit sad about that. But today I put a lot of thought into my predictions, and I'm pretty sure about this one.
I put a lot of thought into my predictions as well. I even took notes on them today because this is so hard to call. Stats is 9-2 in Pro League. One of the most consistent players we've had this season. Accuracy-wise, he's not up there with Hero at 11 wins, but that 9-2 is very impressive. He's only played 2 PvPs though, so keep that in mind. 5 ace matches on this guy's back as well.
It's pretty crazy. 4-1 at that. He has had an explosive year so far, just going up and up and up. And no end in sight for this guy. He just keeps playing better and better. I'm really excited for him. He's just he looks unstoppable at this point. And for YongHwa over here, he's 6-2, 4-2 versus Protoss. But I think he was 4-0. And he took 2 losses, and he's looking worse and worse against Protoss, and just worse overall in general.
Yeah, I feel like he might have had some nerve issues in those last 2 losses he had because he was looking very, very, very good in his PvP. He showed some games where he was behind in every way, just made all sorts of perfect decisions to come back. And I feel like if he is ready, if he's in the right mindset today, he absolutely can beat Stats.
Yeah, there's a reason that he gets 2 votes here. It's a very close one, guys. Even though it is 4-2 in favor of Stats, it's anyone's game here, guys. Let's jump into game number 1. Stats versus YongHwa on Overgrowth. Up here in the top right in the red, it is Stats.
And his opponent to the bottom left for MVP, it's YongHwa. So 2-player map for this Protoss versus Protoss means that, you know, there's a lot of different early aggressive strategies you can see. As Stargate play becomes a lot stronger on a map like this, even if it's not proxy, just simply because the fly distance is also faster. So Blink Stalker build's also really good for this map. Anything goes.
I'm not sure what that is there. I see a lot of MVP Toya. Maybe some...
It looks like he's saying he was watching Choya's stream, and I don't know what's on the left side of the screen. Looks like some text messages of some kind, but couldn't read those.
Not sure exactly how he could have gotten that, or who even that was. But mystery audience member with a really interesting sign. We had an interesting stat up on screen there before. Stats is actually down 0-2 to YongHwa in games. So
there's Choya as well. Coming down here, of course, to support his players. He's had a rough time. Some of his players having a tough time in individual leagues as well just recently. So Choya's been around in the scene for StarCraft 2 in Korea since its beginning. Also one of the oldest players, and definitely the oldest StarCraft 2 coach that's still around, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, this guy's been around since FOU, back in the old GSTLs, and actually a very smart coach. Has led teams like Epic's Open to many victories in the past.
Yeah, and he managed to drag all these players over to MVP with him, so
yeah,
he must be doing something right, you know?
Certainly. The gas timings here for these 2 players lining up pretty similarly. Do you have a little probe hiding to top left here, though?
Stats, he put down like a slightly faster gateway. I'm not sure if that was like 10.
I think it was 11.
Yeah, it looks like 11.
So,
but regardless, the cybernetics core is going to be much faster here for Stats, leading to faster tech. He's already putting down that pylon, so we're going to have a proxy here out of Stats in a very safe location.
Yeah. You know, I feel like this is almost certainly going to be Dark Shrine.
Yeah, I would agree.
Just simply because Stargate, you know, when you proxy it, like this isn't even a proxy. This is like a hidden pylon. You know, it's not really closer to anything because, you know, if you want to hide a Stargate, you're definitely going to put that in a place where you get a little bit of a boost to it. You get somewhat of a boost, I guess, with this placement, but it'd be unlikely. Now, notice that because there's a YongHwa probe scout, he has to delay this because if he doesn't make a mothership core, he's like, oh, you're making something somewhere else. Yeah. So he has to make the mothership core first. So that's kind of annoying.
The problem here for Stats is that you only got a full scout of the base, and he sees that he's missing a pylon. I think this could actually tip YongHwa off, and he might go out for a bit of a scout on the map and try to find some extra buildings because he knows.
Yeah, he's going to check right now. And look where that set is.
Oh, he's going to miss it. Unless he reroutes it right now.
And you know what? He thinks it's Oracles as well. He's already that confident he's going to add a Stargate to get Phoenixes out to shut that down. Oh, he's going to check. Back. He checks it. Incredible! But he does check it before the Dark Shrine is placed, so that does give a few more options to stats here. He could just decide to go Blink.
Oh, he commits to it. He's going to put it in the main.
Exactly. Smart choice. Because he also knows that YongHwa knows that he's scouted, right? So he's like, well, maybe he changes it up now. Maybe he doesn't go DTs because he knows that I know. But if he hides it in the main base, there's no way to be certain.
But at the same time, I think YongHwa, you know, getting that scout down, he could definitely be pretty safe here. You know, maybe just make one Oracle and keep it at home, get your detection down, get 3 gates, and even kind of put on some pressure because he knows his opponent is going for a heavy tech build. See exactly what he wants to do. He's putting down another pylon over here. He's going to scout again, see that there's no blink on the way.
Yeah, just getting that extra little info there. Checking with that probe. It's really hard to tell usually if there's blink being researched or not, but he's looking super close. You'll definitely have noticed there was no chrono boost there, so that's one thing. Now, the Dark Shrine is nearly done. The Oracle is going to have to be in the right spot here. He's making a second one.
I like it. You know, you already committed to the Stargate. Send one out, try to do some damage, and keep one at home just for safety.
This is actually, I think this is going to get shut down. Second Oracle stays at home, and this thing is there's actually literally one Stalker at home to defend this. He's got the Mothership Core as well. That's what's his saving grace here, because without that, he was going to take a ton of damage. Has to warp in another Stalker. Scouts the Robo, scouts the safety as well as the Dark Shrine. And this might kill a probe or two, but if he's looking for that shimmer, he's not getting anything. In fact, he just walks out. This counterattack is going to possibly force a cancel on this Nexus. This is just so much damage here.
That's the scary thing here. He already used one photon overcharge, and it's only got 64 energy on this Mothership Core. I think he's going to have to cancel. There's just too many Stalkers.
The Nexus may even just simply buy him some time to live. Looking for that DT right now, but not enough energy here. Okay, the Nexus is dangerously close to finishing. He's going to have to do. He's going to have to make a choice right now. I think the canceling is the right choice here.
He's going to keep it.
He keeps it.
Wow.
It tanks to keep him alive. He's getting an Immortal out. Did that DT die? We didn't actually get a shot of it. I think it must have. I'm going to take a look at that. Yep, it died. So he doesn't have any vision of whether or not there's a Nexus coming up.
Oh, boy. YongHwa's in a really good spot now. He is able to... You know, I'm not sure why stats didn't cancel that. I guess what you're saying may be right. You know, he just wanted that extra time to live, but that's 400 free minerals that were just thrown away. And now YongHwa's going to be able to put down his own Nexus.
Yeah, and it didn't buy him that much time, really. Like, it bought him literally seconds.
Yeah.
And now, yeah, he gets his Nexus for free. The one thing he's going to be missing is the Immortal tech. The one observer that Stats has on the map, he kept at home. I just checked, so he still doesn't know about the Nexus timing. He can reasonably assume that it is on the way. But he just doesn't have a lot of information right now, and this game is definitely in YongHwa's favor at this point.
Another Nexus cannon. Always got to keep that in mind. Just kind of keep in your head where the energy of the Mothership Core is at, because it's probably pretty low at this point. Wow, he's actually going to get that.
Yeah.
Shutting down that Oracle. Just a little bit of peace of mind. You don't really have to keep as many units in the main. He knows there's one more, but also YongHwa has to be careful. Keep that at home for now before he gets an Observer.
Oh, this is a really scary move, to send these Zealots over here to try to kill Twilight. This is going to force a reaction on the stats, because he really can't afford to lose that Twilight right now. He would like to keep it alive because it's going to stop him from making +2. It's going to stop him from getting charged, which is an essential upgrade in this matchup when the game starts to go late. Although with the Tempest nerf, we'll see. But, like, this is definitely something that you're going to have. In fact, yeah, the Tempest nerf makes it even more important, actually. But yeah, he loses it, as you said.
Misses that pylon. A bit unfortunate.
Yeah,
some of his units are actually not going to be in the main. I hope he warped in some Stalkers, because Oracle's coming back. Okay, he's got 2 Stalkers.
Oh, annoying scout there. Yeah. Gonna try and intercept this, maybe? No, not able to.
You know, at this point in the game, we're actually at a pretty even, standpoint right now. The workers are nearly exactly even. It's 38 to 37. YongHwa looks like he's got 1 extra warp in on stats, but stats, he does have 1 extra Immortal.
Yeah, it's pretty even.
It's like very, very even from here. And then PvP, what really matters is that late game super, gigantic fight, that one big shebang, and then it all ends. We actually saw a very, very late game PvP between San and Zaun yesterday. Free Oracle. Oh, it lives. Okay. Yeah, we saw a very late game PvP, and like you were saying with that Tempest nerf, it's kind of just like, well,
Colossus
there is no
Colossus,
counter
right?
to Colossus anymore except more Colossus. And, just a better army overall. More Archons, and it really just comes down to which guy is going to be more greedy here, get that bigger army faster. Also, who's going to get the third base faster, that kind of thing.
And how do you use that army? When do you attack? How do you attack? How do you position? Do you keep some of your army in Warp Prism Warpins to harass while you move into attack? There's a lot of different tactical choices that get made in late game PvP. And I was going to ask you about that because I was guessing, because I wasn't here yesterday, I was guessing that the PvP was totally Colossus-based.
Yep, it was.
Getting a bit caught out here.
If you guys notice, there's actually 2 robotics bays on the way for YongHwa. Maybe a bit of nerves coming in here.
Nexus Cannon goes down. This is a terrifying place to be against this many Blink Stalkers. And he's going to attack as Blink finishes. Force Fields go down, but he's a bit timid here.
Yeah, and he doesn't even get the Immortal. He's taking some damage.
Yeah, I feel like he could have gotten so much more done there if he was a little bit more confident with his control.
Seems like maybe he wasn't exactly sure what stats really had behind that. You know, he saw the front army, but he didn't see what may be behind that Nexus, and he was just like, well, let me just be safe. But look at this. Moving out on the map is YongHwa. Or rather Stats, to take out that Observer, which he does. Oh, look at this. Where's the Observer?
Looks like it's a few steps away at least. Oh my god, it's all the way over here!
Oh my god. He's going to delay so much mining.
This is the worst feeling ever. This is so funny too because he doesn't actually know that this is the case. So sends a DT away. Well, this just causes a panic reaction. He actually brings all of his Stalkers back as well.
YongHwa's freaking out, man. Look at those minerals. Jeez, he was up to 1,400.
Yeah, he's got to be careful here. He is ahead in workers right now, significantly. Well, that's not really enough to warrant that much of a mineral bank. That was just bad macro there for a second. Okay, big commitment to Blink here. He's got a recall available if things get too dicey. And they might get that dicey here in a second.
Yeah, he's got to be so careful. I think he needs to recall right now. Okay, there we go. I was like, whoa, he cannot stay.
He actually only lost 1 Stalker, so that wasn't too bad. Yeah. I think he killed a pylon for that.
No. I guess overall not a good trade because he lost the energy as well.
The thing is, if Stats is moving across the map at that moment, or if he reacts poorly, that could do a lot more. So I think it's still a good idea. It just didn't end up working out well for him in this case.
It looks like Stats is moving out a little bit here.
This DT keeping the attention of YongHwa for just a moment. Okay, he's going to Zealot Harass, try to draw the army into the main, then try to kill this base and peace out. That's the plan here. He definitely doesn't want to take a straight-up engagement against YongHwa if he can help it. He wants to cut his army in half, keep him split up here. Does have that Colossus advantage to poke a little bit. And, a bit late on the drop here, so he actually just has to back off. Mothership Core died earlier, it looks like, though not a lot of energy here.
Yeah. Another thing to note, as our Observer just showed us, is that YongHwa has committed a lot to probes. He has gotten his third base essentially saturated once he transfers those, whereas Stats, he stopped at 46 for a very long time. Only now is he beginning to remake those probes. Yeah. And I wonder if he was trying to go for some kind of 2-base attack, you know, with just 46 probes, let me stay there, let me get a bigger army than my opponent while he tries to be greedy. But I feel like Stats missed his timing, and now he's just forced to take that third base where his economy is much worse than YongHwa's.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Valdez. And now he's in this place where he has to just kind of accept that his economy is behind and just sit back and try to turtle up until they're both maxed. He's got the upgrade lead, which he might be able to identify in just a second here. It's very slight, but he does have that. And he wanted to just, I think, possibly win the game off that Zealot Harass, drawing him out of position. But as it is, he really can't force any engagements that are going to be favorable. And he could get time warped here. He needs to be very careful to engage in this. He has a lot of units together, though. And that is not what YongHwa has. YongHwa has a lot of units in his main base.
Yeah, actually a decent poke there from Stats. I think if he attacks here with +3, he's going to be in a good spot, actually. Their army supplies are very, very even. It looks like YongHwa's got more Stalkers. He does have that Blink. Keep that in mind. But Stats already getting up to 2 Archons with that. It looks like he made a Templar Archives, but he also does have that Dark Shrine. Regardless, he is getting a lot of Archons into his mix as well, which help out a ton. So much damage, so much soaking. Archons are incredible in this matchup. Yep.
He's
Never also got 1 extra Colossus, so that's a huge thing.
This War Prism's going to come in here for another drop. Again, YongHwa has been really, really good about defending these drops. He always has the Warpins ready for the defense. He has a cannon up as well for detection. I don't think he's going to have any trouble defending this. Let's see. Yep, even blinks in there to kill the Warp Prism and does a big Zealot Warpin.
Then again, Stats forcing a lot of Warpins into the main, and he knows when the Time Warp is down. Huge Time Warp in the army of YongHwa.
It's such a beautiful Time Warp here. Now just going to engage on top of this army. Starter Step microing forward. And at this point, YongHwa has nowhere to run. Meanwhile, a few Zealots even harassing in the mineral line, drawing further of his troops out of position. So well played here by Stats, just picking YongHwa apart. And now he's going to destroy his army. Pros come off the line to die to Colossus beams at this point. And it looks like that is actually just going to be game, Valdez.
Looks like it, man. Huge arc for Stats here in the Colossi. Warping in Zealots right under the beams of the Colossi. And Stats taking a big first game. It looks like it's over right now. I guess maybe YongHwa can try to do something, but the last of his Colossi go down. One left here, very awkwardly stutter stepping, but that's going to be it, man. The third base going down, no longer mining. +3 was finished there for Stats in that fight, by the way.
Yeah. He did everything right. The timing was perfect. He drew those units in the main base. He drew the attention away. Started the engagement better. He had a better initiate, I guess you could argue. And now he's just basically fighting this perfectly. He's not making any more mistakes. And that's going to be it. That's going to be all she wrote for game number 1 here.
Yep.
KT, the favorite team, takes game number 1 and takes that lead.
YongHwa trying to do something, but I think at this point, all he's got to do is type GG. It's his last option.
Such a tough loss to take.
GG.
Stats playing super well. Good decision making. It's like he had the plan. It failed, and then he had plan B, which was just to do the same plan a little bit later.
Yeah, pretty much.
+3.
Yeah. It seemed like he dedicated a lot more current boost to that +3. You know, just to those upgrades, even all the way through +2. And he had a great timing. He was all over YongHwa. YongHwa looking a bit nervous, you know, making an extra robotics bait. Did not get canceled as far as I noticed. His army control was not as good as Stats, and Stats just looked in control of that game ever since the mid-game on, I think.
Well, there you have it. KT takes that first important win. We're going into our second map here. Flash versus Panic on Bonnie Research Station. And Panic, let's see if he can pull something off here. You know, Panic has shown some good games in Code S even before. He's been in Code S. Flash actually oftentimes struggles to be in Code S. He's in Code S this season. You know, he failed to qualify for a challenger for Star League as well. But at this point, I feel like Flash is just the favorite. He's got more experience.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you. I'm kind of distracted right now watching the I'm not really sure what's going on between the coach and Stats, but maybe the coach is joking around with Stats a little bit.
It might be. I could just imagine the scenario in which the coach and Stats disagreed about the DT strategy. And he's like, what if he scouts it? Then what are you going to do? He's like, no, I'll still just win. Watch me, coach.
Yeah, I could imagine that too, man.
I can just imagine that.
Stats looks really happy, though, and he should be. He's now 10-2, right behind Hero.
Yeah.
And that is a huge Pro League record for Stats right now.
Very well played. Very, very well played. YongHwa as well, actually showing a good game there, but just not good enough. Well, Panic versus Flash. Panic needs the upset here to take back that momentum for MVP here, because going into Game 3, where you've got Marine King, who seems to be about a